Three, two.
Hello and welcome to AFD TV. I'm your host, Sithara, and here with me is Dr. Sam and Dr. Sam Sr., here to talk to you about the recommended levels of sodium.
So first is teens and adults should limit our sodium intake to no more than 2,300 milligrams a day, which is just about 1 teaspoon of salt.
Another recommendation to keep a sodium level to a minimum is you should check the label and shop for low sodium foods.
Next is to prepare meals with less sodium.
And when you eat out, ask for less salt in your meal. So why should we limit our salt intake?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, especially as we get older, it can cause not only high blood pressure, but a lot of times people are, even if your blood pressure is okay, bloating, water retention, that's kind of a big deal. I notice that when we travel, holidays, when we have a lot of processed foods, really with salt, salt was the original preservative. It was, in fact, there even before refrigeration, right? And that's why there was, salt trade was a big deal, and salt was essential. It was and still is essential to life and living. So something that was, too much of something good can also be bad. Now salt is, obviously far more available and readily available, and it tastes good. People like it salty. One option to substitute for salt is actually pepper. Because pepper doesn't cause the high blood pressure and bloating. Pepper also can decrease appetite as well, so it's hard to eat a lot of peppery food. The issue with pepper, though, is that if you have too much pepper, then you may want something sweet, and then you end up with a little bit of a sweet tooth. So you just have to have that right balance. If you completely take out the salt from the food when you're cooking, then it may taste too bland. And what it was, the recommendation is 1 teaspoon of salt, which is not much.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
I think it's important when you're growing up, so you don't want to get into heart trouble, hypertension, and other problem. And even though it tastes good, I think you should say salt should be cut down and use a little bit pepper. I like that.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons for kids, yes, high blood pressure is less common in kids than it is in adults. But if you grow up with, especially fried foods, because a lot of fried foods tend to be extra salty, fried and salty, then you develop that as your palate. And then later on, it's harder to change that. Because, for example, even from a sugar standpoint, you eat some sugar, but not that much, right? Sithara?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we kind of raised you and Savitha to not like sugar as much, and so now you may have some, but when it comes to trick-or-treating, right, who's the one who raids the candy the most? Me, because I was, my parents meant well, but we did, it was more kids' food, and sugar, but now we know more with sugar that we try to limit as well, and same thing for salt. So that's probably the biggest reason is to avoid salt. So
Guess which is saltier, chips or pizza?
Probably pizza, right?
Yeah, pizza.
Yeah. And chips, even though it's fried, you can get a low sodium variant, but it's still getting in that salty family. So there's lots of different choices. One of the best things is things like hummus. May have less salt. Any type of toppings. One of our favorites is just avocado, right? And anything, just basically vegetables, right? Vegetables, that way you can season it or spice it up. Yeah. So what do you like pepper?
I like pepper. I think you're right. Pepper is good for the everything.
Yeah, and one of the actually the additions that's actually underused is black pepper. Because anytime you find salt, you find black pepper, and black pepper has a lot of medicinal value. So I've kind of gotten to the point now where if there's black pepper, I use it. Or if there's little, sometimes they give you these salt and pepper things, and we throw them away. I throw away my salt, throw away the salt, but the pepper I definitely use. Because why not use pepper? It takes hard work for somebody to get the pepper, so might as well use it if it's healthy for us. So, yeah. Anything else?
In the olden days, they used to give a salt bag as a dowry for the wedding, especially if you go to Poland. One salt bag is more worth than the gold or jewelry.
Wow.
So
yeah.
when we went to Poland, there was a salt factory was there in the underground. That was the dowry for the girl's wedding.
Yeah, and even all throughout history, there's wherever you go, there's places like called Salt Lick where all the animals went to because there was salt storage, and if you develop in the Salt Lick area, all the animals die. So I mean, salt is extremely important, especially if it's hot, you're dehydrated, because when you're losing fluid, you're losing sodium too. And so if you don't supplement with your sodium in hot weathers, then you don't sustain. So yeah, so salt is very essential. It's just, of course, that right balance. So.
Yes.
Okay, well, take it away.
Thank you for watching AFD TV. See you next time.
See you next time.
AFD TV is designed to provide an educational discussion about current medical topics. For a personalized medical opinion, please consult your primary care physician or visit one of America's family doctors' clinics today.